during his live stream. Now, here's what I will say. I do think it's kind of cool that Jeff Kaplan streamed basically his video game. All he did was stream the game. He streamed like a test build or whatever of the game, and he streamed for a long time. Like, he was showcasing this game for a very long time. People got a lot of information about the game and what it offers. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a pretty like down to earth way to advertise your game in a way. But it's also kind of because he's forced to, right? His studio doesn't have, the studio he's working for doesn't have the AAA backing that he's used to working at Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, or anything like that. Like, he doesn't have that level of money anymore. So he kind of has to go with the peasant, so to speak, and kind of go down to like, standard streaming to advertise his game. But there was a lot of good information, and we're going to talk about the positives of the game in a second. But I want to focus on this clip about his reaction to people and the way they talk about games. So let's see what he has to say. Here we go.
I never understand being hostile about it or being rude about it, but I understand being upset and I understand voicing your opinion. But like, if a game comes out and you don't want to play it and you've never played it, shut the fuck up. No one cares. Like, we don't need to hear that you weren't into it. Like, what is with this? Oh my God, I'm so upset they decided to make this game that I have no interest in. Like, I'm not running to the internet every time there's like a TV show on. Well, I'm not watching any TV shows either, but like.
So why does that analogy matter? If you're not watching any TV shows and you're not running to the internet to complain about a TV, you just say you're not watching it. So by your own metric, shut the fuck up then. Shut the fuck up then, Let's finish it and I'll give you my thoughts on it.
Who cares about my opinion if I'm not going to play it? And if I've never played it? Like, why does my opinion matter on that? I'll tell you what it does. Like, as a game developer who's been in charge of teams, who has the ability to like do something about it, I just fucking ignore you. That's all you've accomplished is like, I guess I'm not like going to listen to you anymore because you're so off the deep end that it's not even worth listening to you at that point. So I don't know. I never.
All right. So where do I begin? Oh man, Jeff Kaplan, Jeff. So here's what I'll say. There are some people that absolutely have gone off the deep end. Obviously, I mean, it's the internet. If there wasn't people going off the deep end, it wouldn't be the internet. But here's the thing, Jeff, right? So the problem is that a lot of these video games that are getting criticized right now for not being attractive to a lot of players that supposedly are not going to play the game is because they're coming from studios that could technically be making something else, but they're choosing to spend money and time on something that the majority of people won't play. And normal people have a right to question, well, why the fuck did you decide to do that? Right? Case in point, right now, Marathon is being attacked by a lot of people right now. But the fun fact about that is that Marathon is being attacked by a lot of hardcore Bungie fans as well. The reason why is because they're saying, well, why the fuck did you waste all this time and money and energy making Marathon when you could have just made us Destiny 3, the game that we actually wanted, right? A lot of hardcore Bungie fans are saying they would prefer to have Destiny 3 instead of Marathon, and they're mad that they wasted all the time and money making Marathon. Now, just because they're not going to play Marathon doesn't suddenly mean that their opinion doesn't matter, because, well, they played other games from that company, so clearly it should still matter. Not only that, you don't have to play something to have an opinion on it. There's a reason why trailers exist. You know, Jeff, I wonder, why exactly are you streaming your game? I kind of wish I could ask them this question. Why are you streaming your game? Why are you showcasing your game to however many people are watching your stream? Why? It's because you're trying to get feedback. You're trying to get an opinion. You're trying to get some sort of like interaction with potential buyers. This is no different than an extended trailer. You're giving people an insight into your game that you're working on. And do you think that everybody who's watching your stream are people that are interested in buying your game? Not necessarily. There might be people watching your stream that maybe didn't have any thought to potentially buy your game, but because they like you as a developer, you're Jeff Kaplan, you're known in the industry, maybe they want to listen to what you have to say and maybe they could be convinced. What's wrong with that? Like, what's the problem with that? So this whole thing about, well, you weren't going to buy the game, so I don't want to listen to you. Well, maybe they could have bought the game, right? So because I didn't buy Marathon, does that mean I don't like first-person shooters? No, of course not. I fucking love first-person shooters. I play them all the time. I'm going to be playing Battlefield 6 tonight. I'm going to be achievement farming because a chat cannot felt me by playing 1348X Photo. Like I'm literally going to be playing Battlefield tonight. You know? So I could have been interested in Marathon. Of course I could have been. But the moment I saw it, the moment I saw the trailer, the moment I saw the gameplay, I'm like, this just looks like a Destiny gun gameplay with some extraction elements and a really fucking ugly art style. And then when I watched some gameplay, because other people decided to play it, I realized after watching a few hours of gameplay that, well, that's exactly what it is. I'm good. At least to me anyway, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm happy for the people that are playing the game and enjoying themselves. But the truth is that I could have been a customer. I could have absolutely played the game if I wanted to. But it just didn't attract me as somebody who does play first-person shooters. Right? So this whole idea of like, oh, if you're not going to play the game, I don't want to hear you. It just makes me ignore you. That's not good. That's not good. So you're only going to listen to people who give you money. And I know I kind of want to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, I know you didn't mean that. But that's exactly what comes off. Basically, you saying that you're not going to listen to people who didn't play the game. So you're not going to listen to people unless they give you money. That is extremely toxically positive, right? That is the exact problem that we are in right now in the industry, where you're choosing to say that you're only going to listen to the people who want to pay you. But the problem is people don't want to pay you. They don't want to pay you if the game looks like shit. It's your job as a developer and the studio to convince people that it's worth their time and their money. That's what you have to do. Otherwise, you're just going to get felted really by the entire gaming fan base. You know, that's not exactly a great strategy to have. So the AAA industry, it's amazing to hear Jeff talk like this, because even him, somebody who is known for, by the way, I remember when Jeff Kaplan would get so involved in the Blizzard forums. This guy was in there all the time. Any of you guys who played World of Warcraft back in the day, you'll remember Jeff Kaplan. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong, forgive me, I'm old. But if I remember correctly, Jeff Kaplan, his profile picture was a baby dragon. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was. I don't remember exactly, but the point is, like, he was in the forums. He was in the forums nonstop, talking with people and answering questions every now and then. And little by little, he started to back away because he became higher up in Blizzard. But still, he would still show up and answer questions and be involved with feedback and everything. And bro, those forums, they were not all sunshine and rainbows. Anybody who was on the World of Warcraft forums back in the day, everybody knows that shit was filled with arguments left and right. Nerf this, buff this. This is overpowered. This is too hardcore. We need more casual content. You're not doing enough for casual players. We make up the majority of your fan base. You got to do more. Like, it was nonstop. nonstop over there, right? So it just it drives me insane to see these people say this. Unless you give them money, you're not going to listen. So, all right, well then, here's the thing, my guy. The people that gave you money, chances are they're only going to give you feedback that is positive. They're not gonna criticize you in any way that's going to help you get better. And this is the reason why the industry is exactly where it is. High Guard is dead because they were being told while they were making the game that the game was going to be the next big hit. Everybody kept lining up into their studios and saying that this is going to be the next big hit. This is going to be a great game. There's no way that this game flops. People were telling them that. People were literally telling that there's no way this game flops. And then the average gamers, when they finally got the trailer for High Guard and they saw with their own eyes what the game was, almost everybody had the same sentiment. It's like, this shit looks so generic. Like, what the fuck is this? This is like it's like Temu Apex Legends. What are we doing here? Like, who thinks that this is the next big thing? So this is the difference between people that will give you real feedback versus people that would just be on your good side. I'm not saying all real feedback has to be negative, because that's not true. You can give positive feedback, but you should also be able to list the cons for the game too. I just explained to the chat about Over the Top World War I and how the game is fucking awesome. It's an awesome game, lots of fun, but it's buggy as shit. The animations are janky as fuck. You know, the hit detection is not that great sometimes. Like, you can talk good about the game while also being realistic about the game and explaining the good and the bad about the game. The problem is you guys only want to talk about what's good in the game, if there's anything good in the game. And if there's nothing really good, then you're just going to make it up. You're just going to fucking make it up and hope that people buy into your shit. So, I don't know. I think it's crazy that this guy with this kind of legacy, again, Jeff Kaplan has made some of my favorite games of all time. To see him and knowing where he came from, which, by the way, the irony, bro, the irony of Jeff Kaplan talking about people complaining. The irony. Jeff Kaplan is famous for being a guild leader in EverQuest and developers hating his fucking guts because the amount of shit that this man would do and stage inside of EverQuest to get his way as a guild leader and a raid leader was insane. Insane. This man literally led some of the biggest protests inside of EverQuest. I'm not even kidding, bro. Like, if you ever search up Jeff Kaplan's history as a raid leader and a guild leader, this guy staged some of the biggest fucking protests and got EverQuest developers felted. Like, literally. But apparently you can't complain about video games, I guess, unless you give them money. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. So I just find it ironic that this guy is saying that. But anyway, no disrespect to Jeff Kaplan. I just disagree heavily with what you're saying right now. And it seems as if you're falling into the nonsense that the industry is trying to procreate, which is, you can only criticize us if you give us money. And that's not how this fucking shit works. That's not how this works. That's not how it works in the movie industry. That's not how it works in the gaming industry. That's not how it works anywhere. Plain and simple. So anyway, now that we know about that, let's talk about his actual game. So there is a long list of things about the new game that Jeff Kaplan is working on called The Legend of California. Now, when I saw this trailer, I initially thought it looked interesting and I wanted to know more. And like a good developer, he decided to do a long stream advertising his game. Gee, I wonder why you would do that, considering that, I haven't paid for your game yet. So what does my opinion matter, right? Oh, because I might pay for your game. I might be a customer. Oh, wow. That's crazy business talk. What are we talking about? So anyway, Hunter over here says, everything you need to know about The Legend of California gathered by watching the developer stream. New game is made by Jeff Kaplan, former director of Overwatch and World of Warcraft developer. Characters are bound to servers, and you can have one character per server. You can have 100 players per server. You're going to have random world events like an outpost coming under attack. You'll want to team up with the server to defend. You have other events like Salvador roaming the roads, a specialty trailer that gets the broadcast to the world. Projectiles all have bullet drop, no hit scan. You can carry 2 primary weapons and 1 secondary weapon. There's a weapon mods table where each weapon can have 3 mods that highly customize how the weapon works. The endgame bow, called the recurve bow, for example, has the stealth string mod that increases damage by 100% on unaware enemies. You can also carry your tomahawk, a thrown melee weapon that you have to retrieve. You can find blueprints for things like better weapons, different tiers of bullets, etc. You can also add custom pelts to your hat that give different bonuses. You can customize how your character looks in a character creator. The map is tiered by 4 difficulties, which are different every seed. The house also has customization like different furniture looks. You can make chests in your ranch for storage. There's mining, woodcutting, fishing, and hunting. Resources are not finite. You can mine literally anywhere that you want to, right? Different tiers of tools that get more effective and can break. The mining hat illuminates in the mine only. Lumber mill station where you could chop logs, use charcoal. You can have a log sled you can pull around to transport logs. A cooking system lets you buff things like swinging speed and mining. Each food has an ability that you could spec it out with additional ingredients. So right off the bat, there's a lot of shit in this game, right? There's a lot of shit in this game. And I feel like what he's trying to do is he's trying to see his initial vision with Overwatch, where it was like kind of based on real life, kind of not. Like you could have a job in the game, you could do resource farming, building, all that stuff. But then it was also like an adventure game in a way. Like you kind of have a little bit of everything in the game. But there definitely seems like there's a lot of things you could do in the game. And all of this was showcased on the stream. So it's not like he just made it up. You can see this stuff. You can use better wood with stoves for longer use. Comfort and well-being system that can increase things like gold scavenging, lucky gathering, and size of the fish caught. Blast furnace station used for making steel, endgame metal. Upgrades to stations. Instead of needing 10 blast furnaces, you can add more lanes to it through upgrades. No farming or ranching yet. Animal breeding and stuff will be in the game eventually. You can tame wild horses or buy tamed one. Also, mules that can be used as mounts that are cheaper but worse. There is a leveling system for horses. They have different stats and traits. The horse can have a saddlebag, can also make a stagecoach to travel faster, stables to keep more. There is fall damage. You can kill your mount, which means the mount times out for a while and it loses experience. You can make gliders later on. Tools do get damage as you use them. No lassos right now. Would like to add those in a whip. Oh my God, bro. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this game adds a whip in the setting that it's in? You just know you're going to see videos of players just whipping other people like black NPCs. You just know what's going to happen, bro. You just know what's going to happen. Quests you could get from job boards, including PvP quests. I think this is where this game is going to shine with like open world PvP. Get contraband for doing PvP quests, which is currency you can use at the black market, which sells really good stuff. When you die, you don't lose anything on you except for some cash unless you're out in the lawless areas. All you drop in lawless areas, and anything you looted in that area, contraband is always dropped. So if you're in a lawless area, that's when you can actually lose your gear that you basically got in the area. Interesting. Character gets a face mask bandana when you are in a PvP area, and your items you pick up get flagged as lawless until you clear the area. Hoping to add a lot of customizations to the PvP experience and add servers where people want full loot drops. Very into letting people play how they want. Trading posts, you can have a trader, you can list things for sale. People can come and buy those things you put up. You can also trade directly between players to just give them stuff. Enemy strongholds have one-at-a-time chests that you can loot that is personal loot. Each person gets to loot it. The small chests are first come, first serve. We'll have a FOZ slider. Default is at 103 like Overwatch. Servers more like Rust, aka official supported servers, but someday you want custom servers. No offline play. Don't want to do things like dragons, demons, etc. It's more grounded, but just not chasing reality. Will be an alpha, then beta, then early access. Not Cowboy Rust. Much more balance between PvE and PvP. No base rating right now. Would love to have base rating in the future if they do well in early access and if players want it. The core game is like WoW Classic where no one is forced into PvP. Fuck that. Force them into PvP. Stop letting them be bitches. Force them into PvP. Fuck it. See, the funny thing is that was actually an argument in original World of Warcraft forums, I remember, where people would talk about forced PvP versus not forced PvP. It was so ironic, right? It's kind of like people who are like, I want the game to be made easier, and then they play a Souls-like game. They'll be like, you need to make this game easier, but you're playing a Souls-like game. A lot of people were complaining about forced PvP on PvP servers. Like, bro, it doesn't make any sense. What the fuck are you talking about? And then they would cope and they'll be like, well, I don't mind forced PvP. I just hate that I could get killed by a level 60 when I'm level 10. Bitch, you are on a PvP server. If you don't want to get ganked, go play on a PvE server. It happened all the time. That's why, like, when people are like, oh, gaming was so much more positive back then, nobody said anything negative. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That's not true at all. People argued all the time. Literally all the time. But that would happen. That would happen a lot. I'm not even kidding. Like, I would literally get people that would complain. Like, I would purposely go. I told a story so many times. I would purposely go to Torren Mill. I would go to Torren Mill and I would kill every fucking level like 15 player. Right? Every level 15 player that I could possibly see, whatever level they were, I would kill the shit out of them. You want to know why? Because I knew that either they would come on their level 60 main character or they would try to call a level 60 main character. And I was trying to start wars. I was trying to start wars out in that bitch. And it worked almost every time. So I don't give a fuck. It was great. It was fantastic. Once people found out there was a war in Torren Mill, people showed up and it was great. It was back and forth, just killing each other. Nonstop. It was awesome. Fucking griefer. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would kick the shit out of them. Didn't matter. Especially as a frost mage, you're not touching me, bro. It is what it is. You gotta get over it. Core game anyway. Fast travel. Every 30 minutes you can go to your ranch or your tent. Each player has a tent. Each co-op group or company has a ranch. There is weather, rain, snow, wind, dust storms, and sandstorms. The piano that can play the songs you find in the world. Cosmetics are unlocked via personal challenges that can be customized too. They'll last through resets. So that's a lot of information, man, to take in. So it's clear that he showcased a lot of his game. I think this game might end up being pretty good. I think it might end up being pretty good. I think it might be something that I would definitely like to check out. I feel as if we're probably going to find out more information as time goes on pretty soon. But I mean, look at the size of the map. Not a bad size, to be honest with you. You know, it does sound extremely ambitious for sure. I am very, very, very hesitant with video games that are promising this much, but I am very interested in this game. As much as he is a fucking retard for saying that nobody can criticize a game unless they pay for it, the game does look pretty interesting to me. I would like to play this game for sure. I would have stayed away from you then because of the griefing. I was terrible. On my server, I was terrible. I would constantly, bro, if I wasn't trying to cause wars in Torren Mill, I was outside of Stormwind dueling people. Straight up. That's all I did, bro. Like, at least if I wasn't raiding, then that's all I was doing. I was PvPing one way or another. I was either world PvPing, causing ruckus, or I was dueling people in front of Stormwind. That's all I would do. Yeah, but this looks like a pretty big map. So, and if you look here, you can kind of see what looks to be mountain ranges. It might be hard to see on the stream, but there's a big ass mountain up here. I don't know if that's going to correlate on the actual world. I gotta imagine it will, but there's a big ass mountain right here, and then there's like mountain ranges right here. So I'm curious. Even though in the picture it looks small, I feel like in game this map is going to be gigantic. I really do. I would be curious to see what actually comes of this. And then, as you can see, you can play this game either first person or third person, which would be interesting. You can play this first person or third person. I just really like the idea of the game. Even if you look at the chat, bro, look at the chat. What does this look like? This chat looks exactly like World of Warcraft chat. Look at that. You got general chat. You're probably going to have private chat, tell chat, all that stuff, guild chat. It looks just like World of Warcraft in terms of the font and everything. It was probably ripped directly from that. The UI looks nice and clean. I'll say that. It looks nice and clean. Pretty simple. I don't like UIs that are just ridiculous, like all over the screen. I like nice, clean UIs. So this UI looks really clean, really nicely put together. I like the fact that these bars make an angle that matches the corner of the spot that it's at. It just all looks nice. So we'll see. We will see what happens with this. But we're a long time away from this game. All I can really say is, Jeffy boy, stop the fucking bullshit, man. Stop the bullshit. Like, come on, boy. You're the one who literally caused hell in a handbasket for EverQuest developers. Like, you are the guy who is known as staging protests in EverQuest to felt EverQuest developers because you weren't getting your way. And come on, bro. What are we talking about? You can't criticize the game unless you pay for it. Stop it, bro. Like, what are we doing?